So Dana White was asked about Jon Jones headlining the UFC White House card, and he basically said that he can't risk putting him in big positions. Now, some people are celebrating this and saying, oh, the UFC finally grew a backbone. They're not giving Jon Jones what he wants, but I don't know if this is the victory that many people think it is. First off, it gives him an excuse. He can now say that, hey, I'm ready to fight Tom Aspinall at the White House. The UFC just doesn't want to do it anymore, and I guess the fans don't want to see it either. And you can say, oh, but you ran from him the first time, but his response is just going to be that it didn't interest me at the time. Now there's an event, there's a new challenge for me. By this time, Tom Aspinall will probably have a two title defenses maybe by that time, and he'll say, okay, this guy is worthy, and the White House is something that gets me excited. But hey, I guess the fans don't want it. I guess the UFC doesn't want it. No problem, I'll step away. It gives him an excuse for this. So as much as people are celebrating this, what else is going to be on that card? Now, it's a year from now, so it's hard to predict, right? I'm pretty high on a guy like Sean Brady. I think he could be champ in the welterweight division, but is that the main event you want to see? I don't know where Sean Strickland's going to be at in a year from now, but all those fights, other than Conor McGregor coming back, which if Jon Jones isn't reliable, then Conor McGregor also isn't. He's probably even less reliable, right? He's made much more money in his career. We see the things he's doing, right? On the internet. Not going to speak on it, but we see the things he's doing. I think he's even less reliable. We talk about Jones being involved with drugs. Conor McGregor is too. So you can't trust him either. He already agreed to the Chandler fight, and obviously that one didn't happen. So can the UFC really count on him to headline the White House? And like I said, as much as you may be like, I don't want to see Jones in that position again. I don't want to see him fight for the title. I want to see this guy. I want to see that guy. When that time comes and he is genuinely agreeing to it, I think you got to call his bluff. Right? Listen, if he's saying he's ready, then say, okay, no problem. Here's the contract. You can fight Tom Aspinall in the White House. And if he denies it, what reason could he possibly give? Because we'll say that, listen, you talked about how this guy wasn't worthy, yeah? Well, hey, now he's worthy. He has title defenses. He's proven how good he is. And listen, you needed a new challenge? Well, here you go. You can be a part of a massive event. If this is a challenge, if this is what you needed to get in the gym and put in a hard training camp that a normal card just couldn't tempt you to do, if this is what it took, it wasn't money, it wasn't the belt, this is what you needed, well, here you go, have it. And if you want to fight. If not, okay, we called your bluff, and you never had any intention of fighting him anyways. Now, him saying this, Dana White saying this, I think could, and most likely is, just a negotiating tactic. Right? Because he was on the Nelk Boys podcast a couple days ago, and he was talking about how Jones is hitting him up. Is he going to deny Jones if he wants to fight Tom Aspinall and say, no, I don't want that fight to headline the card? USA versus England, Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, he's going to say no? No, he's not. He will take that fight. I think this could just be maybe using leverage. Now, that type of money that Jones was getting, that 30 mil or whatever they offered him, hey, maybe that's not on the table anymore. Listen, you delayed this for a year. You told us you were going to take the fight, then you didn't take it. I know this is something that you want to be a part of, and you said it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about the belt. Well, okay, guess what? We're not going to give you the money that you were getting a year ago. It's going to be a lot less. So that's the only thing I can think of that this is probably a negotiating tactic, because what other matchup are people going to be more excited for? I see people celebrating that you don't have to talk about Jones anymore and we don't even want anything to do with him. But what other matchup do you want to see that would get you more excited than Jones versus Aspinall? What would it be? Now, like I said, it's hard to predict a year from now, right? I guess the only matchup that I think could make sense to me, maybe, is if Islam wins the welterweight title and Sean Brady beats a guy like Shavkat Rakhmonov. Islam Makhachev versus Sean Brady could potentially be a main event of a White House card. USA versus Russia, that has potential. I think it does. Now, do I think Jones actually wants to return? Now, it could be a couple of reasons, right? It could just be he wants to stay relevant for another year. Dan Hooker talked about this when he was talking to Ariel Helwani, and he talked about how Jones held up the division for 8 months, and Hooker just basically said, listen, it's a selfish sport, and it's in his own best interest to stay relevant and keep getting those endorsement deals and still be heavyweight champ rather than just retire right away and give up all those things, right? So that could just be what he's doing here. He'll still be discussed for the next year. those reporters will still ask Dana White questions. He'll always be in the news cycle. So it could just be that he wants attention. He wants to constantly be asked about it. But all along, he maybe has zero intention of fighting Tom. And listen, now Dana White might have just given him out. If this wasn't a negotiating tactic, he might have just given him out. I know people are going to be like, oh, we won't believe you. You didn't take it the first time, so you don't deserve it. But I don't think you guys consider how just the casual, and I hate even using this word, but how the casual fan thinks. I think they view Jones a little differently than some people who watch every single UFC event do. They view him as this unstoppable fighter, and they saw the Tom Aspinall thing, so they think to duct him. So right now, what they saw was Jones is the greatest. Oh, he's avoiding Tom. But now they're going to see, oh, he wants to come back for the White House, and the Dana White and the UFC is not letting him. So it's not his fault. I think you guys are underestimating how just a casual fan who just kind of reads headlines, who doesn't really get into the details, how they view it. I think they view it very differently. So I think Jones he got an out. If this fight doesn't happen because of the UFC, he got an out. So I just don't think it's a big deal for the UFC to either call his bluff and give him the fight and then just see what he responds with. Either he takes the fight and we get the fight that we have been asking for, or Jones backs out again and we know that he never had any intention of fighting at the White House. He just wanted to stay relevant. And I think that works too. Either way, I'm happy, but I don't think just outright saying no fight for Jon Jones, no matter what. I don't think that's the best. I just don't think that's the right way to go about it. No matter how much people are praising Dana White, oh, he finally grew a backbone. Oh, he finally got rid of the blackmail that Jones had on him. Stop it. This is not the way to go about this. If there is any possibility that this fight can be made, even a year from now, make it happen. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this whole situation. Until next time, peace.